She wasn't supposed to be awake at that hour, yet there she was, Amira, disguised beneath a borrowed chef's coat 2 sizes too big, walking quietly through the dim kitchen of the prestigious Silver Hearth Hotel. The night air was thick with the scent of garlic, cold steel, and something else, something metallic. She froze when she saw a figure at the butcher's table, a man in a black apron, a cleaver raised, and the sounds, low, deliberate chops echoing through the empty kitchen. He was cutting meat at 3 a.m., but it wasn't the act itself that frightened her. It was the strange, hollowed look in his eyes, and the tears streaming silently down his face. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who's listening. Amira knew she should leave. She had one job here: pretend to be a trainee chef, gather enough experience, and earn the scholarship she desperately needed. No trouble, no questions, no risks. But something about the man known around the hotel simply as Black, a nickname born from his ink-dark apron and constant silence, pulled her in. She had heard rumors that he never spoke unless absolutely necessary. Some said he carried grief like a second shadow. Others avoided him out of fear. Then Black's hand slipped. The cleaver clattered. It wasn't he. The tool that worried her, it was the way he grabbed it again with trembling fingers, as if the blade weighed more than his grief. Amira hesitated, torn between fear and compassion. She could walk out, pretend she never saw him. She'd stay safe. But all her life she'd run from responsibility, from expectations, from the pressure of being the first in her family who could afford college if she only worked hard enough. Tonight she was tired of running. She stepped forward. Black didn't answer. His breath hitched. For a moment she thought he might break down, but instead he looked at her with eyes so wounded she felt the impact in her chest. He wasn't dangerous. He was heartbroken. He pointed at the meat, and at a small photo tucked under a spice rack. Amira moved closer. The picture showed a little girl with braids and a toothy grin, holding a medal in front of her chest. Black tapped the photo once. His hand shook. Then he whispered the first word she had ever heard him say. Birthday. One word, yet it carried 1,000 unspoken stories. Amira felt her throat tighten. She had skipped college to send money home. Her little sister needed tutoring. Her mother needed medicine. She knew what family sacrifice tasted like. Maybe that's why she stayed, even when her instincts told her this moment wasn't normal. Black continued chopping, slower now, more careful. Meat, onions, herbs. His movements were mechanical but filled with longing. Then he opened an old metal lunchbox and placed the ingredients inside, as if arranging flowers. It wasn't meal prep. It was a ritual. Suddenly, the door slammed open. A guard stepped in, flashlight raised. "Why are you two in here? This kitchen is closed." Panic surged through Amira. She wasn't allowed in the kitchen after hours. If she got reported, she'd lose her trainee spot in the scholarship. Black stepped forward protectively, shaking his head, trying to take the blame. And for a split second, Amira considered letting him. He was already in trouble often. People expected little from him. Maybe it would be easier to stay silent. That was her moral wound, wanting to help, yet terrified of losing everything. Then she remembered the picture. The little girl. The ritual of a man who had already lost too much. And she knew she couldn't let him lose more. She faced the guard. "It was me," she said. "Couldn't sleep, and he found me wandering. He stayed to make sure I didn't hurt myself with the knives. I'm sorry. It won't happen again." Her voice quivered. But she didn't back down. The guard eyed them suspiciously, then exhaled sharply. "Leave, both of you now." They hurried out. When the heavy door shut behind them, Black leaned against the wall, gripping the lunchbox as though it held the last warm piece of his soul. Then he spoke again at soft words that changed everything Amira thought she knew. It's for her. She would be 8 today. The hallway spun for a moment, not from fatigue, from grief, raw and unmasked. Told her slowly, haltingly about the accident, how he worked 3 jobs to support his daughter, how she would wait for him after every shift with her lunchbox in hand, eager for the meal he cooked, how she never got to eat the last one. Now, every year, he made her favorite dish at 3 a.m., the hour she was born, and packed it as neatly as she used to. Not to forget, but to remember. Amira felt something in her chest unravel. She had been so consumed by her own struggles that she forgot everyone carried their own quiet battles. Maybe that was why she stayed, listening, breathing with him through the pain. But then Black offered her something unexpected. You work here. You're smart. She hesitated. No one had asked her that sincerely in years. My family needs me, she whispered. College can wait. Life can't. Black studied her with the calm weight of someone who understood sacrifice more deeply than most. And then he did something he rarely did. He smiled, faintly, sadly. Don't skip your life. Some things don't come back. It struck her like a truth she had avoided, a warning wrapped in kindness, a gift from someone who had lost everything. In the weeks that followed, everything changed. Black quietly taught her kitchen skills. No one else bothered. With knife balance, seasoning intuition, the art of listening to ingredients. Word spread about the girl who learned fast. The head chef noticed. The scholarship board, too. It was Black's name she wrote in her final application. And when she won the scholarship, she left one portion of his daughter's favorite dish on the counter. A silent thank you. He found it and cried for the first time in years, not from grief alone, but from being seen. Because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. And in the quiet kitchen where grief once lived alone, the soft glow of morning touched the butcher's table just like that night when a disguised girl found a broken man cutting meat at 3 a.m. Learned why some hearts skip college and why some learn to return. If this story touched you? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe to Whispered Words for more stories that stay with you long after they end.